They thought humans would play by the rules. That even in captivity, even after defeat, Earth soldiers would be treated with the basic decency afforded by every interstellar accord. But when a broadcast leaked across the galactic networks, showing bound, bloodied human prisoners executed one by the Ziraxi Dominion, something ancient stirred on Earth. It wasn't grief. It wasn't fear. It was rage, pure, calculated, and unstoppable. Within hours, the transmission was confirmed. Names identified, families informed, and then Earth went dark. Diplomats were recalled. Communication severed. What followed was a single chilling message from the United Defense Council. This is no longer war. This is retribution. From the outer colonies to the core fleets, humanity mobilized with terrifying speed. Because the Ziraxi didn't just break a treaty. They opened a wound. And now, the galaxy was about to learn what happens when humans stop fighting to win. And start fighting because they've been wronged. The ambush at Virex Nebula, the 214th Earth Expeditionary Battalion, had been deployed to the Virex Nebula under a joint peacekeeping operation. Despite tensions with the Ziraxi Dominion, there had been no formal state of war. But on the edge of that colorful gas giant, everything changed. The Earth Battalion was ambushed. Communications jammed. Evac routes severed. And within 6 hours, every human soldier was presumed captured or dead. For 3 days, Earth Command heard nothing. Then the broadcast came. A shaky, deliberately brutal feed, transmitted across neutral networks, showed the prisoners being interrogated, beaten, and finally executed. Some were burned alive, others were spaced. The Ziraxi commander, General Sykes-Loth, declared it an example to all species who dared defy their supremacy. The reaction on Earth was immediate and unified. No protesters, no dissent. The footage wasn't just horrifying, it was personal. Families watched their sons and daughters die. Veterans wept. And behind closed doors, humanity's war machine came alive. The Council's decision. The United Defense Council convened an emergency session, composed of military brass, scientific advisors, and elected representatives from Earth's global coalition. They reviewed the footage. The Geneva Accords of Space Warfare had been signed by every major species, including the Ziraxi. War was tolerable. Murdering surrendered soldiers was not. Admiral Jane Vectra, a former Marine with over 40 years of combat service, took the floor. They didn't just kill our people, she said. They broadcast it, mocked it. That wasn't war. That was terrorism. The Council voted unanimously. Total war, not occupation, not containment. Annihilation of the Ziraxi military infrastructure. But, with a clear directive, civilian lives were to be spared. Earth would not become what the Ziraxi were. Mobilization within 72 hours. Earth's outer fleets were recalled and redeployed. Over 50 Titan-class warships, each the size of a small city, began converging on the Ziraxi border. Manufacturing centers lit up, orbital shipyards extended triple shifts, and veteran units were recalled from retirement. The media called it the Iron Wave. But the humans weren't just building fleets. They were building resolve. AI battle coordinators ran millions of simulations per second. Logistics chains spanned moons. Psychological warfare teams prepared thousands of counter-propaganda broadcasts. Earth wasn't coming with emotion. It was coming with precision. Strike on Morthal Prime. The first human strike was not symbolic. Morthal Prime, a fortified fuel depot in Ziraxi territory, powered 1/3 of their warfleet. Earth didn't bother with a warning. The 7th Earth Armada descended from hyperspace in a pattern designed to break sensor locks. The battle lasted 11 minutes. Human dreadnoughts disabled Ziraxi orbital cannons within seconds. Drone swarms cut through fighter screens. A single Nova-class missile penetrated Morthal Prime's core, and detonated with surgical precision. The explosion was visible from 3 nearby systems. Over 23,000 Ziraxi soldiers perished. Not one civilian. Casualty. The broken enemy, the Ziraxi, were stunned. For centuries, they had dominated through fear. Most species surrendered after token resistance. But humans fought differently. They didn't seek territory. They didn't negotiate. Every strike was about dismantling the Ziraxi war engine. Their second major base, Kreshul Fortress, was boarded by elite human marines who used EM-shock weapons to disable soldiers non-lethally. They left the civilians untouched, but collapsed every military tunnel with precision charges. Human broadcasts to other alien civilizations explained every action. They released evidence of the POW executions, offered humanitarian aid to refugees, and clearly stated their end goal: to end the Ziraxi military regime. Retaliation and a line crossed desperate. The Ziraxi retaliated with a biological strike on a small human colony. Brea 9. Over 4,000 civilians died in hours. This was the moment Earth removed its gloves. The Council lifted restrictions on AI-piloted hunter-killers. For the first time, Project Revenant was authorized. Autonomous ships designed to engage, adapt, and evolve mid-battle. Entire Ziraxi fleets disappeared without a trace, torn apart by machines that never slept. Earth also deployed the Atlas Initiative, cyber specialists who disrupted Ziraxi communications, finances, and even planetary weather patterns to hinder agriculture and cause internal dissent. The fall of Ziraxi Prime with their empire fracturing. The Ziraxi High Council pleaded for peace. But humanity demanded full accountability. General Sykes-Loth must be surrendered for trial. When they refused, Earth struck Ziraxi Prime. Operation Final Dawn wasn't a bombardment. It was a surgical strike that disabled every orbital weapon platform and forced a landing on the capital. Human troops moved block by block, disabling military units, confiscating weapons, and evacuating civilians to protected zones. General Sykes-Loth was captured by a joint team of Earth Marines and AI units after a 3-hour siege. He was tried in a galactic court, found guilty of war crimes, and sentenced to life imprisonment on Titan Station. Aftermath and Legacy Earth did not colonize Ziraxi space. Instead, it established an autonomous civilian council composed of Ziraxi leaders who had resisted the war. Economic aid was offered. Former soldiers were re-educated, and Earth's forces withdrew within 5 years. But the galaxy remembered. No race, no empire, no civilization would ever again assume that humanity's mercy came from weakness. It came from choice. A memorial stands in New Geneva today. On it are carved the names of the 214 soldiers executed in that first broadcast. Below it, in steel letters, "We do not forget. We do not forgive, but we choose justice over vengeance." The Ziraxi learned that day what the galaxy would never forget. You can break treaties. You can violate borders. But if you harm humanity's own in cold blood, you don't face retaliation. Echoes in the stars years after the war. Explorers found derelict Ziraxi warships drifting in the void, untouched, preserved like silent witnesses. Humanity had not looted them. They served as grim museums, reminders of what had been unleashed. Young species studied them, and the name Earth took on a weight it had never held before. Protector, judge, and when necessary, executioner. But the galaxy had changed. Old empires reconsidered their doctrines. Treaties were revised with teeth behind them. And new generations of aliens, once wary of humans, sought alliance. Earth's reputation wasn't built on fear alone. It was built on decisive, disciplined power. It was terrifying, but fair. A warrior's reflection. Admiral Jane Vectra, now retired, stood at the edge of Earth's orbital memorial station. She looked down on Earth, her weathered hands clasped behind her back. "We never wanted to be monsters," she said quietly to a young cadet beside her. But when someone pushes you past the point of mercy, you must become something else. Not for vengeance, for peace. The cadet nodded solemnly. Around them, thousands of names flickered on the station's wall. Soldiers, civilians, allies, even Ziraxi peace advocates who had died trying to stop the war. Humanity remembered them all. In the quiet of space, Admiral Vectro whispered the creed that defined the war. Never again will we be silent when our own are slaughtered. Never again will we hesitate to end those who revel in cruelty. We are human, and we endure. The return of the Silence Fleet, long before the war with the Ziraxi, a classified division of Earth's military, known only in myth as the Silence Fleet, had vanished into deep space. They were believed to be a failsafe, a final deterrent, sent to the farthest edges of the galaxy to test radical technologies and train in total isolation. They were never meant to return. But war has a way of stirring old ghosts. When the first human prisoners were executed, Earth's strategic IRN activated a forgotten protocol, Project Final Witness. Deep beneath the lunar archives, dormant codes came alive, transmitting a simple beacon into the black. 2 weeks after the fall of Ziraxi Prime, an anomaly appeared at the edge of the Cethos expanse. A fleet, silent, unregistered, and unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Ships black as void, shaped for nothing but war, with no crews visible aboard. They bore no flags, no insignia, only a message broadcast across the system. We are the silence between stars. You broke it. Now you remember why it was kept. The Silence Fleet had returned. The enemy beyond, but they had not come for war. They came with a warning. A commander, or what remained of one, contacted